Hey guys, it's Timbo here, Old School Laps. I'm with my son Aiden. Here is your first episode of our new Guerrilla Hapkido series, arm drag variations and alternatives. Arm drag, very basic, very standard technique you see in wrestling, MMA, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but we're going to take it to another level because actually if you think about an arm drag or a wrist drag, it's a wrist grab, just like you see in Hapkido. So we're going to take some modern day approaches and we're going to add some traditional Korean Hapkido methods to it. First one we're going to do, Aiden and I are squared off. Today I have my right foot forward and I'm going to use my left hand first, just like I'm a wrestler. My hand, the palm of my hand is going to go right to his nose and his eyes. I'm going to push hard just on his head. That way, yes, hand comes up because he doesn't want me to push on his hand. He's going to grab my wrist, a wrist grab. As he grabs my wrist to get it off of his head, my free hand is going to come up. I'm going to grab the inside of his tricep and I'm going to make a connection with my shoulder. Connection made. Now when I pull, I turn and drop, say a nage. Wrist, drop, say a nage. Take my palm and push up on his head and put some pressure. He doesn't like that. He's going to use his hand and he's going to grab my wrist because he wants to take it off of his face, a wrist grab. So as soon as he makes contact, I grab his tricep, my hand goes, and I pull. I come forward and I pull him in, making my shoulder make connection to his chest. From there, I can turn for my drop, say a nagi, or I can use my front foot to get him from an outside sweep. So the first technique is a very standard, very modern wrestling arm drag. I'm actually going to bait my opponent to grab my wrist. I'm going to use the palm to make pressure right on his nose, pushing his head up, and he has no choice but to grab my wrist. Now, we're going to take a little bit more of a unorthodox approach, and I'm going to grab his wrist. I'm going to grab his wrist just like I'm going for an arm drag, but I'm going to use a little bit of a Hapkido concepts and methods to get a arm bar standing. So let's take a couple of minutes and let's really talk about what a wrist grab is. You see wrist grabs and wrist grab defenses in Hapkido curriculums everywhere. Traditional Japanese Jiu-Jitsu techniques everywhere. Where did the wrist grab actually come from? Because a lot of people argue that you don't see that in modern day combat. Just for historical purposes, the wrist grab was actually an pre-op self-defense technique. Someone has a sword or a blade, they go to grab their blade and the person grabs their wrist to stop them from pulling it. From there, you have to learn how to defend with a wrist grab. Today, I'm going to attack with a wrist grab and go into an arm drag entry to get my arm bar. So now, I'm going to have my right foot forward, but instead of me using my left hand to push his head and make him grab my wrist, yeah, like that, I'm actually going to use my right hand. I'm going to come across and grab his wrist, just like you would see in another arm drag technique. Someone will grab the tricep and drag across, take the back maybe, but instead today, I'm going to grab his wrist, straighten his arm out. I'm going to have my left hand and my other arm reach across under, thumb down, grabbing his shirt, just to make connection. Now from there, my hand is just going to push down for an arm bar. A couple of details that are very important. Number one, I don't want to grab his hand. I don't want to shake his hand. I want to grab his wrist because I can pull harder. If I grab his hand right here, he can do some weird thumb and finger techniques and break my contact. Detail number two, when I grab his wrist, if I fail to pull his arm forward, straightening his arm and his elbow stays bent, when I reach under, I don't have a focal point. His elbow's not trapped, and I won't be able to do anything. I might have to resort to kicking his leg out. Detail number three. I grab his wrist, not his head, his wrist. I pull to straighten his arm. Now, the reason I have to go thumb down is because if I go thumb up and I grab his initial defense is going to be to bend my arm. I have no focal point. He's going to take me down. So I grab his wrist, pull, thumb down. That way I have a focal point. Once I get that, yeah, he's tapping, but in the street, I'm not going to let the tap let me make him stop. I'm going to grab, pull, hit the arm, and then sweep from the front. Yeah. Yeah. Get out of here. So there you have it, guys. This was episode number 1 of many Guerrilla Hapkido technique videos, arm drag series, variations, and alternatives. Keep it old school, guys. You okay?
I'm gonna need some old school laps. Thanks for watching, guys. This episode of Guerrilla Hapkido was brought to you by Old School Labs. Intro Workout Fuel. Keep it old school.